backside right on the edge of the seat. Hold it like this, center on the pins, right? And you start off here. And when you get the command to row, you push with your legs to get the drive. Start to lay back. Now you won't lose your balance because the blade is reacting to your movement, and you end up back here at 45 degrees with the blade, of course it's submerged, up here. Right. This is the sanding tool that I made. You take a 3-inch or 4-inch sanding belt, turn it inside out, slide it over the mast and then down over here, and by working this you can round all the edges of the mast, and it's variable speed, and you work it along the mast, and that's how you finish off the mast to perfectly round after taking it from 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 sides, and then you knock the final apexes off the 32 sides with just made up out of stuff in the house with in the workshop with a piece of rubber belt glued on and recessed down in there. I made it so that I can go to bigger and bigger sanding belts if I ever get back into bigger mast building, for when I build the 150-foot 3-masted schooner. Just an idea of how this battery-powered hand planer takes off spruce shavings. Beautiful machine. What would probably have been 50 or 60 hours of hand planing comes down to about 3 with this. Mizzen is 13 feet, 2 5/8 for the center 5 feet, and then the ends tapered to 1.5 inches in both directions. This is the yard arm for the lug sail. Good? Mm-hmm. Putting the first coat of sanding sealer on the 13-foot tapered yard arm. 2.5 inches in the center, tapering to 1.5 inches at either end. Started off as 4 pieces of lumber that were this size, 16 feet long. Laminated it up, 7-10-7'd it, and changed it from square to round. That's the main right there, already varnished, and alongside it is the mizzen, which I will do in the next couple of days. Okay. Main mast with the tenon ready to cut the heel tenon. Main mast 3.5 inches square where it goes into the mast step, and then tapering to 2 5/8 along its 17-foot length. All glued up. Main mast is 4 laminations of 1x3, or actually 1x4, cut down. Masthead sheave cut out. This boat has no shrouds as a normal boat would. The yard is hoisted on a halyard, and then because these boats only sail with the wind behind the beam, they have no keel, no centerboard. So the wind has got to be aft of the beam, and when you tack the yard, the halyard comes to whichever is the windward side and just sheets to the thole pin that are also used for the oars. There is no main boom. It is a single sheet which just moves across from side to side. No boom at all. And the mizzen is just a little triangular shaped jigger, just like you would find on a ketch or a yawl. Next move is to look at some of Harry Ingham's old Sigma 36 sails and see if I can cut some trial sails out of his old sails that he was kind enough to leave with me. You don't belay the halyard, because if the sail is set out, you see how that just runs freely up there and no support?
Right.
So if the sail is set with the forward edge hooked on one of those hooks up there, and the yard arm on this side, right? This is led to the windward side and just goes on a throw pin to give the mast some support. And the trick to this is that you would normally have 1 and 2 of the rowing crew ahead, because one person, and you'll see Francois do it because he's pretty good at it, he picked up pretty quickly. This yard arm sits at an angle. But when 3 mahogany and 2 pitch pine, or 2 spruce actually,
2 spruce,
just laminated with epoxy and then shaped as the alternate.
Excellent.
And it's long enough that either the coxswain can sit here, lean forward to get out of the way to tack the boat, or can sit down here with the main sheet person on 5 and sit here and steer.
Got you. I got it.
That's the way they work.
I'm following you.
And take it right forward.
It's just been moved forward, the Griffiths. Putting the sail on the, what would be commonly known as the starboard side, but in a gig boat, it's not called the starboard side.
The premier gig builder in England is a man named Patrick Bird, whose father, Ralph Bird, resurrected in the 60s a 100-year-old gig, restored it, and started the Cornish Pilot Gig Association in Cornwall. And his son Ralph is now the premier builder.
Right.
And he's a supporter of us. And we've all rowed his boats. And he was kind enough to send me all of his drawings so that I could build the rig and know how to do it. So we're very grateful to Patrick as well.
So the question about this the mast and the spars, what are they made out of?
I laminated them up out of 1x4 spruce with epoxy.
Okay.
So I built those.
Yeah.
And I built the masthead sheaves and all sorts.
One length of wood.
There were 16, but this is 4 pieces to give us what we want.
Yeah.
There's 4 laminations. You see that one's 4 laminations. You can see that there.
Yeah, coming across.
I made all the cleats and everything out of the little teak and stuff that I
see. Yeah, very unique.
There's no gooseneck. This is what's called a snotter.
Yeah.
So the boom, so this will go past the sail. So when you tack the sail, you just put it on the other side.
I've heard of a snotter, but like I said, I don't know much about sailing. But the terms that you're using, I'm very knowledgeable about them, but I've never sailed, Maurice. Interesting. And then who made the sails then?
A friend of mine sold his Sigma 36, and he had a lot of sails left over, and he was going to throw them away. I said, no, you're not. You're going to throw them down in my basement. And Rod, up at Stitching Time, Rod cut them out, and him and I sewed them, and I put them together and put grommets and stuff.
Excellent.
This is not going to be the final suit, but it was an experimental suit.
Of course.
So far, I'm still building this totally out of pocket.
You know, amazing. Credit to you.
I'll hold the yarn main sheet. I will cut this to length when we're ready. In the final analysis, I'll cut this to length.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to twist it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other way, that way.
Mario, we think, for listening to Jane Downing,
Mm-hmm.
that the last time there was a known sailing of a gig in Bermuda
Mm-hmm.
was 1826.
Amazing.
And we, 1926,
Uh-huh,
1928.
1928.
And we think that it was the gig that took all 6 of the guys with it. The
Okay.
ones that's up at the Battery Head.
Okay. Yeah.
What crew was that?
So that would be a crew from St. George's,
Yes, yeah.
and it would be the Brangman, the Smiths.
Yes, that's right.
There might have been a Pasco in there.
Yes, was.
And I think the boat was called the Queen, Spanish Queen or something.
Yes, something like
Something
that.
of that nature. We have to look up the history of that.
Yeah. This would come down here, and you would hold the tack like that, and bring this up, and this just goes. This just goes through here. But it would be over here. It would be that side. It would be that side. Yeah.
So it would be this side.
Yeah. Hold it straight up. Hold it up. Yeah. Because you don't want it to twist the same. Right? Yeah. So that goes like that.
So the left-hand side is called the bow side. This is the side where we're on, and the opposite side where Maurice is called the stroke side.
The yard is
under right there.
Pass it to whoever is dipping the log. Okay? Just enough that it can get around the mast. And that goes where?
And you go back up with the halyard.
Back up, Dominique. Up.
No, wait. She wants it back up.
Oh yeah, she's got to come around.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's gotta be.
Right side.
Pass it to Doria. Doria, you wanna hold it down up?
I got it. I don't bring it back.
Yeah, go up. Okay.
You can go up with that.
Yeah,
Doria.
you can go up.
Yeah,
Doria.
go up.
Way to go,
Just that's good. You don't want to jam it up hard. Bring it down a bit. Bring it down a bit. Right, so that it just clears the confusion at the top.
Don't let it run, yeah. Okay, ready?
Okay, back. You'll be up there somewhere. Again, water milk. We will set up rows to suit your crew times and stuff like that. When we get her sorted out, we'll go offshore with you guys when you're putting the pilots aboard the ship. I really want to explode this thing into our history.
Yeah, of course.
And we're doing it with Nell and Deborah and a number of people.
Yeah, all inclusive. Okay, so they're on the way. They've shipped the oars.
Easy up. Right side, take us back. Blades in and take us back. Quickly. All blades can go in. And you want to take us back. Right side, take us back. Easy up. Easy up. Stroke side, row please. In. That's the reason the boom is out there, so that we can get the leverage in the boat. lot easier than rowing, isn't it?
Yeah. That more fun.
A lot more fun.
Thanks.
Take one of me.
Okay.
So make a left when we're out of the pass, and we can hit New York in a few days.
Apparently the last time a gig was sailed out of St. George's was 1928.
95 years ago.
1928, so this is
95 years ago.
95 years ago.
Ooh, this is beautiful.
Thanks for being home.
I was telling the girls I was in the middle of cooking some collagen.
I mean, look how quick we're sailing.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll get a GPS speed counter as well. Yes, yeah.
Nice job.
I am on it.
And he said,
Yep.
There's that red bird. I'm going to start calling that red bird Maurice. You see Maurice? Oh, he just flew up in the tree. That's what I'm calling that red bird from now on.